hesitate to ask this question, but I'm going to. Spring game concerns, what do you have? Because let's realize this is a shell of a team that the head coach wants to show a shell of. So he wants this team to look as bad as it possibly can. So we've got to be really careful when we start to nitpick it. I think you would agree with that. But what are some concerns? Where does this team need to get better? I would definitely say at running back is where I would start. Brought to you by Don Self. Customer service still matters. For 40 years, they have built their business on taking care of their customers. In the greater Chattanooga area, call 423-396-2126, 423-396-2126, donself.net, donself.net. Running back, Peyton Lewis, is that the answer?
That's the one who needs to get in the most. Yes, they missed him. Obviously, they are ready for him in the fall. Running back. Yeah, in the summer, in the summer. It was very clear the running backs were an issue. Now, obviously, Dylan Sampson didn't play and Cam Seldon didn't play. So they went with Khalifa Keith and Deshaun Bishop. Khalifa Keith was in a role that he's not meant for. He's not meant to be an every down back. He's meant to be, it's 3rd and 1 and you need a first down, hand on the ball. And so I think that they are going to, yes, the running back play was very concerning, but I think it was concerning throughout spring practice. I don't think they have answers there. Because I'm just going to tell you guys, Dylan Sampson is their all-purpose back. Cam Seldon is not the every down back. Cam Seldon cannot be the every down back. He just can't. And he didn't play in the spring game. And you saw there's nobody behind him right now.
No, I tend to agree with you. Let's take a look at the poll questions on Twitter. Encourage people to check that out. Where do we stand on that?
So who was the standout player of the spring game? Not at quarterback. 47% Mike Matthews, 19% Boo Carter, 17% for Chris Brazel and Jeremiah Telander both. Telander.
Interesting. Okay, so let's flip sides on this, as that was obviously who were the standout of the spring. The concern of the spring is not, to me, running back. It's also not any other position other than a position that starts with second string offensive blank. It's second string offensive line. You've got to have some depth there. I mean, there's not any depth there. I'm sure they went completely vanilla with Cooper Mays out with an injury. That offensive line, if they're 100% healthy, I will bet on them right now to be one of the top 3 offensive lines in the SEC this season. If they are not, and they suffer 2 injuries, they might be one of the 3rd worst in the SEC. Brought to you by Hemp House, the premier hemp dispensary online with a wide variety, great selection, and strict standards to ensure you only receive the best in CBD or Delta products. Hemp House Chat with 2 T's, hemphousechatwith2ts.com. Use the promo code HOOK for 10% off. Promo code HOOK for 10% off. I don't want to sound like I'm ripping on your selection of the running backs, but I feel like this running game is stalled, and they got to get a car that can go moving first. So whether or not Peyton Lewis is the answer or Cam Seldon ends up being an answer, I'm not even to the point where I'm really concerned about a running back being able to do other things as far as pass pro. Listen, they can find a running back that can go out there and do some things, but a guy that turns a 2-yard gain into a 5, a 6 into a 12, a 12 into a 24, those guys are invaluable. They really are. And they're too de-emphasized nowadays in our football world, Caleb, but they're big.
They are, but and you're right about the offensive line. I'm actually on your side, because to be able to turn a 2-yard gain into a 6-yard gain, you have to have the 2-yard gain there for you.
And lean. And lean and push. Yes.
And so isn't it really amazing that 4 years in, Tennessee hasn't found a center behind Cooper Mays?
I think they have advice in Lang. I'm not saying he's ready to play, though.
Right. No, but that's the problem. How long do you have to be in the program before you're not ready to play?
Yeah. So if Cooper wasn't ready at the beginning of the year for whatever reason, is Bison ready? I would say probably not. Joe Newbert Collision Center. For over 50 years, Newbert Collision Center has Tennessee's best choice for quality repair work and fantastic customer service. JoeNewbertCollision.com, JoeNewbertCollision.com. How many offensive linemen do you feel like this coaching staff has missed out on? Caleb?
I mean, you had Addison Nichols who hit the portal. We're talking, obviously,
we're not talking about players that they've developed. We're talking about players that have hit the portal.
Yeah. Well, there's players that are still on the team that I think they've missed on, to be honest with you. And I think that's where I'm kind of at with it because, well, I don't think Pruitt was that high on Neville either. I just think he was overrated as a recruit. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be harsh, but Andre Carrick, obviously, I still think they missed on him. They, I would have Dante Thornton, but Andre Carrick probably, if you want to debate who stole more NIL money last year, Carrick probably stole the most money. But Brian Grant, they haven't been able to develop the way they want to. Masai Reddick, these are all recruits that signed with this coaching staff. Now they did have some new freshmen come in, so there's a little more depth. There's more competition this year, but yeah, and you're right. You're waiting on Vice and Ling to emerge, but maybe the freshmen, William Satterwhite, Max Anderson, could one of them emerge early, particularly Max Anderson, a Texas kid. I talk all the time. Texas kids can be overrated, but they're usually ready to go early. So maybe Max Anderson could get into the rotation. I don't even think they have a full starting five because they still don't have a left guard. I mean, that's just a fact. They don't have a left guard.
I think Carrick's doable.
Like I said, they don't have a left guard.
Yeah. I mean, you definitely may be right.